Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
The Mid-Island Métis Nation has partnered with the Nanaimo Aboriginal Centre to present Aboriginal Family Night, and today we're checking it out. Virtual reality like you've never seen before in Qualicum Beach, overcoming fear in preparation for Olympic competition, and the art of beading with the Métis Nation. On the second Tuesday of every month, a different First Nation community hosts and presents entertainment at an Aboriginal family dinner. That's where we are at the Association for Community Living on the corner of Victoria Crescent and Cavan Avenue here in downtown Nanaimo. Tonight's evening is hosted by the Mid-Island Métis Nation in partnership with the Nanaimo Aboriginal Centre. We're going to experience some culture and, of course, some food. But we're switching directions entirely, and we're going high-tech into the world of virtual video games. Here's Derek Johnstone. That looks pretty cool. Definitely something of the future that is now upon us. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. Chris Beaton is with the Nanaimo Aboriginal Centre, who came up with an idea, you and others, to host an Aboriginal family night.
Right.
What need do you think that's going to fill? Why the idea?
Well, I think really without this opportunity, we don't get a chance to come together in a very casual setting. If it's not for National Aboriginal Day, there's not really a reason for us to come together as a community, and I think that's really valuable. I think it's an experience that's lost as we've moved into, as our community has moved into cities. We don't get that opportunity. So that's what tonight is all about. That's what Family Night is all about, is coming together, reconnecting with friends and family, building relationships and getting to know each other and sharing some culture.
And it happens on the second Tuesday of every month. And from what I understand, this is the fourth.
Fourth or fifth.
Fourth or fifth, and already 60 to 90 people showing up. So obviously a success already.
We're happy with it. We're certainly willing to grow some more as well, but certainly 60, 70, 80 people every month is an indication of the need and the desire for that coming together.
Now there are 6,000 First Nations people in our city.
6,000 Aboriginal people in the city, 10,000 in the regional district. So we're a very fast growing, very young community. Not that I'm one of those young people, but we are a fast-growing community, and again, this is an opportunity for us to come together.
Now, at the risk of making myself sound ignorant, I'm going to do it. The difference between First Nation and Aboriginal. Is there a difference?
Sure. I mean, Aboriginal and Indigenous are kind of catch-all phrases for First Nations, Inuit status, Métis, non-status people throughout Canada.
Okay.
First Nations people are pretty distinct, land-based to a certain cultural group or First Nation. So there is a slight difference.
Okay. More room for growing at this event, and it's free. There's not, and anybody's welcome. You don't have to be Aboriginal or First Nation to come.
That's right.
And it's a potluck family feel. People are bringing contributions to put onto the dinner table, and
absolutely. I mean, that being free, we have to thank Thrifty Foods for allowing us to do that and contributing food every month. The Nanaimo Association for Community Living provides this space to us at no cost, so that allows us to provide the event for no cost to the community. And yes, room to grow.
And entertainment and food. So getting into sort of the concept. So every month, a different Aboriginal group.
A different cultural host.
And then they sort of set a menu and decide what type of entertainment. There's some historical booths over there.
And again, it's that opportunity to share culture. The diversity of cultures, Aboriginal cultures in this city is incredible. Nuu-chah-nulth, Kwagil, Salish, I'm Mohawk from Southern Ontario, the Métis are here, Inuit come on a monthly basis. We're all here in the city, and this is our chance to come together and share some of that culture with each other.
Awesome. We're going to continue to do that later on this edition of Go Island. Time now for a short break. Still to come, going for gold with the Canadian Alpine Ski Team and a proud tradition in the Métis Nation. That and more still ahead.
Did you know that the hormone oxytocin, which is released when a mother gives birth to a child and is also released when a mother breastfeeds her child, is a fundamental hormone that also contributes to loving relationships and is released when somebody falls in love with someone romantically. And there are currently experiments going on that show that you can give somebody a brief injection of oxytocin in their nose, and that will increase the extent to which they develop positive feelings for a person they're interacting with.
The food looks fabulous. It smells even better. You can experience it for yourself every second Tuesday of the month. It is Aboriginal Family Dinner organized by the Nanaimo Aboriginal Centre and the Mid-Island Metis Nation. It's hosted here at the Nanaimo Association for Community Living, as I mentioned, on the second Tuesday of every month, and it starts at 5:30. Have you been watching much of the Olympics? I've actually caught quite a bit, and I'm learning more about skiing than I ever thought I would know. What about the mental game, though? When an Olympian hits those slopes, there is a lot to overcome, a lot of fear, and dealing with unwanted results. That is the topic in our next installment of Go for Gold. We're at an Aboriginal family night today at the Nanaimo Association for Community Living. It's a joint project from the Mid-Island Métis Nation and the Nanaimo Aboriginal Centre. Lots of people playing important roles, learning about culture and each other in the process. What's your role here tonight, Chris?
Yeah, thanks, Kate. I'm a director with the Mid-Island Métis Nation, and I'm also facilitating a Aboriginal youth entrepreneurship program in Nanaimo. And so it's a series of workshops teaching the youth all about entrepreneurship and career planning. And one of those things is about social innovation and joint collaboration and community involvement. And so yesterday we had some of the youth together, and we started preparing and cooking for tonight's dinner.
And what do you think they learned through that process besides how to cook?
How long it takes to actually cook, and they learned about some traditional foods for the Métis people. Like for example, tonight we're cooking venison stew and bison meatballs, and so got to learn a bit, understand a bit about some of the traditional Métis foods.
Nice. Do you think there's a risk of those traditions being lost and youth growing up not knowing some of this history of their own culture?
Absolutely. I think in today's environment where convenience seems to take over, and we're always tempted with convenience and fast foods and stuff like that. I think it's really important to really understand the nutritional values of traditional foods, because a lot of times there are a lot more nutrients in traditional foods.
Right, and you can hear, well, just that's Chris's daughter, who's probably wanting a little bit of daddy time. So we'll let you go in just one more minute. It's a fixed program. It's about a 3-month-long Aboriginal entrepreneurship program for youth. What happens when it's over? What have you done up to today?
Yeah, so we've been engaging with a lot of different guest speakers and presenters. Everything from social media to leadership to politics and governance, and so basically we're just hoping to encourage them to be able to participate in today's economy through entrepreneurship and understanding a little bit more about themselves and what their interests are and their skills, so that they can hopefully be able to maybe take that entrepreneurship road ahead and participate in today's economy.
And will it run again? Will you
We're
start up?
we're hoping so, and we're working on some other interesting things to come in the future, and so stay tuned.
Excellent. Okay, and we'll hopefully share some of that things to come with you on future editions of Go Island. We're going to throw things over now to Kelly Robinson. There's a couple little guinea pigs that need a home. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. If one of the objectives of an Aboriginal family night is to learn about other cultures, then objectives tonight are being met. Joy Bremner is with the Mid-Island Métis Nation, and I didn't know the difference between land-based and script.
Right, and the Métis were given script many years ago rather than being placed on a reserve. It left them with their independence, and they were either given small amounts of money or small portions of land.
And when you say small amounts of money, it was pretty small.
Yes, just over $200, and both of my great-grandparents were given script, and they were each given, I believe, $286 a piece. And that was the government's way of moving them off of the land that they had already been living on and working on and trapping and things like that. But that was the end of them then having that space in northern Saskatchewan.
So for a people who don't know how to have no experience in managing money,
Yes.
and now no longer have land, what's...
And I
Wow.
think it speaks to the Métis spirit, very independent and industrious on the whole buffalo trade and the whole pemmican trade. And I mean, my great aunts and uncles, they were out in the bush as children, learning to trap and collect things to sell. The Europeans were very dependent on First Nations and the Métis when they came here, because it was a whole different way of living here. It was wilderness and wild, and so it was really important for them to be able to, look to those people that were here.
Is there a general regret for taking the money and we should have done it differently? And I know that's generalizing, but...
Yeah, and I think depending on who you speak to, everyone has different feelings about that, and I think something that has come, we all belong to, the Mid-Island Métis Nation is a charter community of the Métis Nation of British Columbia, and they really do a lot of the speaking for us in terms of the federal government and things like that, and we meet regularly in regional governance meetings and things like that, just to discuss how everyone is feeling. But yeah, I think for really one of the things that's so important to all of us is our culture.
And you're very proud of
Yes,
that
very much
culture.
so,
And within
yes.
that culture, there's a crest that you're wearing.
Yes, and this is actually a Métis sash, and the sashes would have been worn. The voyageurs themselves, the French wore them, and then the Métis developed them, and the uses were so wide and varied, and they're finger woven, and this one is machine woven, but we do have a couple of people here in town that do teach finger weaving, so you can make your own sash by finger weaving it. The beading is really a huge part of our culture, and the different leather work and the moccasins, and even we have a number of people that teach drum making. Because we are a blend of the European and the First Nation cultures, we have such a wide variety. It's so exciting to be a Métis person because you get to access and do all of those things, and it's a part of our culture.
We're going to throw things over to Jocelyn Matwee, and we're going to see you again.
Yes, I
Tell
believe
me
so.
about the story that we're going to see next.
Yes, and it's about the Nanaimo beading circle, but a part of it was also my grandmother's last quilt, Dora Bruce's last quilt. And she had started cutting the pieces 25 years before the quilt was finished. And she ended up ill and with dementia, and my aunt carried them around because this quilt was meant for my son. And he didn't know that it was being put together. So 25 years later, he was about to turn 40, and we decided it was very important. My aunt sewed the small pieces together, I sewed the blocks together and quilted it, and my son's daughter, because there were 2 empty blocks, did her first traditional Métis beading on those 2 blocks.
And that's where we pick up the story with beading. Here's Jocelyn Matwee. That brings us to the end of this edition of Go Island. Thank you so much for watching. And just a final reminder that there are Aboriginal family nights here at the Nanaimo Association for Community Living on the second Tuesday of every month. You can contact the Mid-Island Métis Nation for more information. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.